afternoon.
Jason, we're not,
Oh, we're not? You told me we're live?
the video camera's not on yet.
They're starting late, huh?
We are live. Actually, we are live.
Good afternoon, board members and guests. Welcome to the special fall meeting of the GCC board. We have an item today that we will be dealing with. I will call roll. Board members, Harry Block.
Here.
Mark Anderson.
Here.
Bruce Mandrick.
Here.
Lily Campbell here, and one board member absent, Mr. Jack Turner. So thank you guys for coming. We appreciate your being here this afternoon. And we have an item that we're going into in just a few minutes. Do we have any comments from anyone? Okay, and thank you guys for being here today also. We're so glad to have you for the board meeting. And with that, I think we will move right into our item number 7, business, the 2018-19 audit actuals. And are you ready, sir?
Yes.
All right, it is on you.
Thank you. Board for coming in today to hear the report for the unaudited actuals. The unaudited actuals are basically the financial statements for the prior year. We are required to submit those by September 15th after the year is closed. So today is the deadline. So we'll be they've all been sent out to the district. District will be sent after the meeting today. A little bit of a problem here. Yeah. Can I turn it on?
It's
important. Very important. So the unaudited actuals, they show the actual financial results and revenues and expenses, and also the statement of financial position, which kind of in the private industry world is also called a balance sheet, our assets, liabilities, and equity in the organization. Part of these submitted to our oversight districts, the county office of ed, and then eventually they'll go to the California Department of Education. This pie chart here just shows where our revenues come from. So for the year ended, we received almost all, 84% of our revenues coming from the local control funding formula, which is the state funding, or the state mechanism for funding schools, just like school districts. And then there's the next biggest part of the pie, the other state revenue, 7%. That's all of our special, that's kind of what's left out of categorical programs. And then federal grants, 5%, and then other local, which is mostly going to be interest income, investment income, other miscellaneous donations, small donations, that's 4%. So this is our all of our general funds of all the schools combined for the GCC. We ended out the year with just over $57.8 million in revenue, and we budgeted almost 57.8. We're only about $45,000 off for the total, which is great. But there was some wide variances in between. LCFF very close on target. Only we came in about $66,000 over, and we just had, because we had a few slightly higher P2 ATA we budgeted for, so that drove it up a little bit. The federal revenue was a lot lower than we budgeted. It's about 640,000 lower. And that's just because the public charter school grant program, we received two grants from the federal government for the Saba Sac City, Saba Elk Grove charters. And we just didn't spend all of it. Now it will roll over to the next year. We saw another, the CDE extended it for another year for us to spend. And so those revenues will roll into next year for us to spend. And then there was also Title I, Title II, Title III, Title IV. If you combine a lot of the monies between all the schools, a lot of the schools didn't fully spend those grants, so those grants roll over as well to the next year. And so we'll have a corresponding decrease in expenses of that amount too. Other state revenue, that was lower by about 279,000, and that's mostly because of the SB 740 facilities grant. The state is not fully funding that grant for it's at a deficit statewide for charters. The state is able to fully fund. There's two major components of that grant. We received that grant for COA, we received one for EPIC and Gateway International. And it's to pay for facility leases from non-district owned properties for classroom-based charters. So they're the only three schools that are eligible. And so what's happening is there's two components of the grant. One to pay the rent and one to pay facility improvements. They're fully pretty much funding the rent portion, but the facility improvement portion, the state is coming back and not fully funding it. And in addition to that, they came back with retroactively cut 17, 18 back. So we took a hit at COA because COA used it for a lot of facility improvements. And so that was unfortunate.
Is that like amended across the board was, we may get it at some point, or is it just?
I don't think so. With the political climate, it's kind of used as one of those areas to beat up charters. I think they're not fully onto that program.
They've cut it out, just deferred it.
Yeah, there was a large increase to it. I think in the final, maybe the year before the final year of government round, but now it's a lot of charters have hopped in and have gamed the system, and it's by kind of making it these contracts and coincide with the way that the grant works. There's been a big increase also in the number of charters utilizing the grant, and it's just it's not getting any more increases in funding, but possibly. Other local had a huge increase. 897,000, and that's because we had significant investment gains in our investment account. From the year, the equity market is doing really well, and interest income is also increased far faster than we budgeted. We budget pretty conservative in these areas. We usually budget no investment gains because it's so volatile. We don't know if the stock market's going to go down or up, and then interest rates are really rose during the year and caused our interest income to go up more. So that really offset a lot of the decrease.
Yeah.
What's nice about that other local, those increases in other local are unrestricted monies that we can use for anything for a purpose, whereas the federal state are not. So nice. Expenses, this is kind of the share of the expense budget. So we gave salaries, the largest 33%, classified salaries are 13%, benefits are 16%. So that's total about 62% salary and benefits, which is a little lower than what you probably hear of the district world.
85%.
Yeah. But we outsource a lot of things that they don't. So services and other, the 22% there packs a lot of things in, like, we outsource just some bus drivers, buses, services, and food service. Into Point Rivers handles the food service for us for a lot of things. So there's, and even special ed services as well. So that's why our numbers tend to be lower than the district on the salary benefit side.
Where would that show up? Those,
It's in that 20
service and others?
Yeah, services and
22%,
other.
yeah.
Yeah.
So it is significant,
Yeah.
22%.
So our services and others is
Yeah.
significantly higher.
Yeah. So probably, we were to lump it all together, we probably come out about the same, yeah.
So the general funds, we ended out, $4.1 million better than budgeted overall in expenditures.
That's great.
Yeah, we had, a lot of savings in certificated salaries, about 249,000. I found that there was a lot of money budgeted for extra additional teacher hours, throughout the year, for probably throughout just in the local control accountability plans and then some of the Title I grants, and they weren't utilized as much as budgeted. Classified salaries, we had a savings of 365,000. We had a lot of open positions in classified throughout the year. There's always a lot of turnover in classified, and just so the total of just that and lower hours probably work per week every week than budgeted. Benefits, because of the savings from the salaries, that flows into saves on our benefits costs. And we had some savings in STRS and PERS. Everyone, we budget for everyone participating, and there are some exceptions where some people don't participate. And then health insurance can be under budget as well.
Ask a question.
Yeah.
When we send out the report to the county and to CDE, is there anyone who is looking to say, are you inflating your budget, or do you have too much? I guess I'm just kind of looking at, because we have
Yeah.
some.
Yeah, no one has asked that of me.
Yeah, okay.
I mean, we send these out as 9 separate unaudited actuals.
Right.
to
Yeah,
the-
yeah.
So, it may not look, because this is a total and the numbers get bigger and you pull it all up, but,
Yeah.
when you look at it as an individual
And
chart,
yeah, just
it
didn't
doesn't
want
kind of look as drastic, but.
that we weren't padding our budget or anything.
So the special ed district fees, I thought that was a set 2.5%. Is that based on, how would that be lower than what we budgeted? Or is it we just have less students?
What part of it?
So this part that says under services and others, it says district fees for special ed was lower than budgeted.
Yeah, this was, so a big chunk of the services and other savings, was, and I'll show that on the next slide. There was a significant chunk of that was special ed costs from Twin Rivers. When we pulled out, it was, the Saba. When Saba broke into 3 charters.
Yeah.
Saba, Sac City, and Elk Grove were pulled out of the SELPA for Twin Rivers. And so
I see.
we budgeted conservatively because it was difficult to say, well, how much would that save actually from the costs? And we've seen pretty high increasing costs from Twin Rivers, but it's very difficult to kind of calculate, well, what does that necessarily mean in terms of savings? And so I think we budgeted a little more conservative than, and it was a little bit of a surprise actually. They don't really know until after the year end so what our share of those costs are. And so it's a little bit difficult to budget, especially in a year where there's so much change.
Mhm.
Yeah, since we had a lot of change, that's why
Yeah.
it was a larger number.
Yeah.
than it would be typically.
Yeah, we tried to budgeted for a reduction in those costs, but we didn't budget enough of a reduction, I guess. Books and supplies, there's, big savings there, and part of that, a lot of that's probably it's the PCSGP grant, the title grants that weren't all fully spent are flowing into that, and they're flowing into the services and other categories, a lot of that. So actual spending was far less than budgeted for most of the schools. They just didn't spend what they put in the LCAP in those different grants. Capital outlay, well, we came in under because there was we discovered, we were reviewing our leases, that McClellan Park is contributing over $200,000 to COA for facility improvements, or we can offset rent. We have the option, and so we're opting to take that against facility improvements, because we think that's more beneficial because of our SB 74 grant, and so that is why we're saving money. So for services and other contains so many different areas. I kind of put this on a separate slide, how we're saving the 1.4 million. Really all of it, most of it comes from the general services and other account. It's almost 775,000 in savings. That just comes from a lot of different understanding of the grants. General services and other can be, just really help anytime we hire a company to provide some type of service to us. It could be software licenses, it could be some kind of outside tutoring services, or and even special ed services as well. We have to contract with companies to provide those services. So that came in well under budget, and the district fees was $478,000 less than we expected because of the special ed. The beginning fund balance. So we had the beginning balance. We had a little over $87,000 investment to that. That was because we did not spend our energy efficiency grant fully. The projects that we did for the energy efficiency just didn't need that much. It wasn't, we didn't need to utilize the full grant, so we made the adjustment now to take that out. So we are, despite how well we did against budget, we originally budgeted for a $7.7 million loss, decrease in that asset. A lot of that had to do with we're contributing to futures and HLA. We contributed at the general funds over $4 million to finish that project. So that's why we had such a large deficit there. But we actually came in at a $3.3 million decrease in net assets. So it still is a deficit for this year, despite how well we did saving money on expenses. But a lot, like I said, it's just a one-time. We took that $4 million out and the other way, it's a surplus. So that's the reason. And so we ended out at $26.2 million for restricted fund balance, a very small portion of that. It's like $368,000. And then there's some extra non-spendable things like what we have to keep in our revolving cash account and prepaid expenditures. So we have about $1 million of fund balance that we can't use, but the remainder of it is good for reserves in case of any needs that we have. Building funds, we budgeted for only about $5,000 because that project was eventually the house was coming to an end, and now we're starting out with modernization of GIS. So we received our first apportionment for that, and that's why there's a it was $642,000 higher than expected. The expenses came in about $441,000 higher than expected, just because the modernization wasn't initially included in the budget. And so we have a decrease in fund balance, looking at 6.8 million. We had that's the transfer rate for the general fund was at 4.7 million, 77 million. We budgeted 4,969,000. So we went a little bit, $199,000 better in our transfer rate for the general fund. And so we ended out, the fund balance is all spent. We only have about $2,000 in that. And that is because of this interest rate. That is all for the presentation. Are there any questions from the board?
Board members? Nothing.
This
Adjourn it.
This is the comment that,
Okay.
the usual, good job. It's amazing that we see this, but you put together 9 complete packages as though we were in 9 different school districts. That's a really pretty remarkable feat. Also, as a charter group, we're in very good shape.
Yes.
Some really commend staff and everyone for that. We weathered the last storm, and that was a pretty big one. And we're in good shape to weather
The next
the
one.
next one.
Yeah, that's coming up.
Yeah, I do also want to affirm Aaron and his staff. It's primarily Aaron that does this piece. I mean, his staff puts together all of the information. He's working with them to do that, but he really is the heart of all of the things that have to happen in order for this report to go through. So I do want to affirm Aaron for all his hard work.
Yes.
Thank
Yes, thank
Good
you so much. Great job, great job.
And she's not here, but Brooke also contributed quite a bit with director of services. Just wanted to also thank her.
Yes. Please give our compliments and our information. Any other comments or anything, Aaron, any other questions before we entertain a motion?
I was just gonna ask, it's been a while since we had the Wells Fargo folks, and we're planning to have them in here at some point in time, just to kind of, because obviously it's,
Yeah,
we just need some good income from this previous years.
yeah, I remember they actually came in and met with me back in January. And so they had some changes to some personnel there. But we could certainly call it back in and do another review. It's probably about time.
Yeah,
Yeah.
at least a year thing, I think
It's been a couple of years, 2 or 3 years, we were over at the chapel.
Right, so it might be a good idea to just try to get them on the calendar.
Would be a review just like with us,
Yeah,
or
right.
not from the board, but
Well, you and I,
Right.
remember then they came in and just did a high level on
Yeah.
the board.
Oh.
But I like, yeah, I
like
like,
to for the board.
yeah,
Oh, okay.
but you and I should be with them.
Yeah.
Prior to
Prior
that.
to that.
Yeah, just sometime, over the course of the new school year.
Okay, here, no other, oh, okay.
And the reserve, because all the schools are going over 3%.
Yes, every school is at least 3%. We have different reserve requirements based on the different sizes of the schools. So the smallest schools have the largest classroom-based schools have 3%, like COA. If it's a small school, they have to have a little bit more, like 4%. And then we budget 5% economic reserve level. This is the economic reserve. Reserve for economic uncertainty.
Yeah.
That's, we do 5% for our independent study schools. And then there's additional reserves on top of that. For all, pretty much, I think every school had an additional reserve as well. a grade put on top of that for other purposes.
I had one more. Regarding student reserves. So I think it was at the last board meeting that we shared, we have some difficulties to allocate the monies that we have in reserve for the SAVAs. Is that correct? Did I understand that correctly?
Yeah, there are some challenges with that because there is something that the state requires called a non-classroom based funding determination form. And it requires us to spend 80% of our revenue on instructional purposes. If we don't meet that mark, they can cut our funding down the next year subsequently, based on how short we are from that. And so if we take money from one SAVA and put it into the new SAVAs, that will inflate their revenue and cause it to be more difficult to get to that 80% level, which could actually cause the state to decrease our
Yeah, to
funding.
get her.
So that's
So we
the-
don't want to do that.
That's the challenge,
Okay.
yeah.
Yeah.
Just one other thing, Aaron, you mentioned before, I think everyone was here, our ADA figures.
Oh,
Would you
yeah.
like to repeat that?
Yeah, so we just hit over 5,000 students this
Oh,
week.
wow. Okay.
Yeah.
So that will be sent out in your
That's
credit.
great.
It's already been
Yeah.
sent out, I have it on my.
5,015.
Wow.
And we still got some sitting on the reserve with HLA, that we don't have space for.
Don't have space.
Yeah, we're trying to build more space.
So I was at the Sim Center yesterday in PI. Sim Center is at capacity at this point. I think it's over 252 students.
Yeah.
And they have a waiting list going on as well. Potomac, North Potomac is at 90, and I think theirs is
Yes,
targeted
Yeah.
at 150.
at 150, that's what we were told the other night, it's already 150 and right now. And that has increased,
Yeah.
tremendously.
From 60 to 90.
Yeah. exactly,
So, no, it's really
it's
good.
moving. It's-
And then Maury shared the wraparound on the RT bus, on the RT line. Have you seen
I haven't
that?
seen it yet.
It's amazing.
So for those who don't know,
Yeah.
one of our marketing things is wrapping light rails as well as RT buses for Saba. So if you're
And
out there,
theater.
you'll
It's the
see, yeah.
theater things.
Oh,
Oh, my
yes.
goodness.
So you
I haven't
see
seen
that
the RT bus.
out there, CIA as well as.
If you go to the movies, you'll
And
see a commercial for
Yeah.
Sava.
All
so
right.
while you're waiting to get your popcorn,
Right.
you'll see a great advertising.
Hey, you
Maury
guys
can
are
send
working,
that
we
out
got
just to
it,
show
let me take this motion to before we,
Oh.
please, so we don't forget this. Okay, I will entertain a motion to accept the unaudited actuals for 2018, 2019.
I will move.
So moved.
Sorry.
Accept. I have a second. It's been moved and second to accept the unaudited actuals for 2018, 2019. All in favor? Opposed? The ayes have it. We've had the discussion, so I didn't ask for that. Thank you again.
Thank you.
Appreciate all of your hard work, and I know how much it's been and how you were out there working hard. And I thank board members for being able to come today so that we could take care of this item. And any other comments, board members? We have board comments. Anything that you want to say? I know I've seen most of you this week, Harry and Mark. We have been just kind of running into each other at back to school nights, and they've all been really good. So you guys have been busy. We have been busy. So thank you. Any other comments, board members? You just ready to go?
Got a football game.
You got a football game. Well, okay, next board meeting,
Next board meeting is scheduled for September the 24th, 4:45 here at the GCC.
September 24th, 4:45. You want me here?
Mark will be.
Mark is absent. Everybody who, anyone else not gonna be here, we will have a quorum. Okey dokey. Okay, and then I'm leaving the very next day. All right, so with that and nothing else, I will entertain a motion for adjournment.
So moved.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor? Aye. Meetings adjourned.
Thank
Thank
you all.
you. And thank you for sitting here. Ms. Cindy is out of the city. Thank you so much. Mr. Gillespie. All right, that's it. How much time did we do that? We did it in 30